So Spencer, a 3-0 loss here at Salisbury at the FA Trophy. What are your initial thoughts?
Congratulations to Salisbury. Don't want to take anything away from them, but up to the first goal, there's only one team in it. I don't care who they gave man of the match. The man of the match was their goalkeeper. That's the positives. The negatives are they score, and I don't like using swear words in videos, but we politely give up, and that is not acceptable. Defensively, with the exception of the Slough game, and let's face it, Slough had chances, we have fallen off a cliff, and thought we were very good first half. Their keeper's made 3-4 great saves. He's made another couple of great saves in the second half until they scored, but we are mentally weak, extremely fragile defensively. And that's not just the defence, as in the defenders, as a group, as leaders. And as soon as they scored, it was game over from our perspective. And I must apologise to the supporters because it's not good enough. And I've been in there a long time, and this is not the first time. And quite frankly, from a first half, fairly dominant. I mean, we've had so many chances. We've controlled possession, looked really good. They've had one free header from a corner. We start the second half poorly. They potentially should score. And again, then we take over. But then the first goal is a calamity from our perspective. Second goal, as he's about to strike, I said to Steve, we've stopped running. And the guy comes in and hits it and goes straight through us into the net. And the game's over. And we are in a position where we're mentally weak at the moment. And I'm very upset for the club. I'm very upset for the supporters, and it just wasn't good enough after they scored. As I said, their keeper, fantastic. How he's kept some of them out, the one from Chin in the first half, the one from, I think, Cooley in the second half. I mean, through players. I mean, we had so many dominant passing the ball. I mean, it was so dominant, certainly in the first half and at the start of the second half, besides the breakaway. But you can't take anything away from Salisbury, that once they score the first goal, the game was totally done, and far too many of my lads just, as I said, don't want to use a swear word, but the polite way of saying is gave up, and there was no way back into it, and it was extremely poor, and that is not acceptable. The 2 cup competitions this year away from home have been abysmal, and I've let them know it, and too many of them, I just think, they want to do it when it's on the front foot. Defensively not good enough. And they're going to have to be changes. I've looked at it. I've put people in. People had chances today. They're not fit enough, not doing their jobs enough. This is a really good group. But if we want to carry on winning games, there is clearly a major issue. And individual responsibility and then collective responsibility has not been good enough. And yes, I made changes today, and I'm not going to apologise for it. I need to get people up to fitness. I need to look at people telling me that they're better than other players and should be playing well. Certainly after they score, certainly not. And the first goal's calamitous. I mean, it's just a catalogue of errors. So congratulations to Salisbury. I don't want to take anything away from them. They'll probably see it differently. But, I mean, to be so dominant and to lose 3-0 until this is it's quite frankly embarrassing by us and my responsibility. We're not good enough defensively, and I'm going to have to do something, because as we draw into winter, it's all well and good playing some fantastically attacking football. People will look around and go, the football we play and where we are in the league table. But, this was a great opportunity. I mean, we were head and shoulders a better side for certainly the first half and even starting the second half. But as I said, it was a first goal wins game, and they got it, and congratulations to them. And we've got a few lads that, too many actually, that seem to think they're better than they are and only want to do it when we're on the front foot. So apologies to everyone. I'm very upset about it, but it's not just a case of we're going to brush it under the carpet. Yes, it's the trophy. It was a competition that we weren't sure what we were going to get. It was a horrible away tie, but we have to learn from these lessons. I have to learn from these lessons. When defensively we are not good enough, then it's time for change in that area. And I said that starts from the front as well. And too many players, I think they're great, and they've got their supporters on on the terraces and forums who think they're great and should be doing this and should be doing that. But when you actually get into it and sit there and watch the hours of video and watch it back and go, hang on a minute, that was your man and he nearly scored, or he did score, or that was a poor choice of pass. And it's harsh because of where we are in the season, you know, but that's 3 out of 4 games we've been abysmal defensively, and that second half. And it's you know, we just gave it up when the first goal went in, and very, very disappointing.
4 changes from last Saturday into the squad. Do you think that impacted the result today?
Nope. I think these are all good players. Good players. Players that needed a chance, needed to get fit. Match sharp. These are good players. And yes, no apologies for the changes. We are in very competitive, as an understatement, where we are in the league. And they say there's a cliche, which I know people laugh when I use the word. I love cliches because of the history that's behind them. They're cliches for a reason, but I have learnt a lot from that game again, and this is not the first time. We have a mental weakness, and that will then be down on me. It's not easy to make those type of changes, and maybe there'll be a few upset players that go, I can't believe it's me, but you know, this is not the first time. I'm still fuming about Walton. And today we should have won that game. You know, at half time I said, fellas, our only problem is we should be well clear here. And as I said, their goalkeeper was head and shoulders man of the match, certainly till they scored. But at the end of the day, that's both boxes. But you're not going to win many games if you're conceding 3 goals. You know, 3 goals, 4 goals. You know, and as I said, the Slough victory was great, but let's not pretend Slough didn't have chances. You know, and quite basic chances where people made errors. So you've got to be pragmatic about it, and sometimes you have to understand it, and it's going over a period. And I don't want to overreact. I don't want people to go, oh, it's very depressing. No, it's not. We're 1 point off second and playing some great football at times, but these cup opportunities are important. They're important for the fans. They're important for the players. They're important for the club. And in both, we've given up with a whimper and not good enough. And it's lessons that I've got to learn on players. And you know, as a group. And as I said, a lot of that also comes down on the attacking players. I think we would, cliche, we could be playing right now. We still would be scoring an hour after the game, you know, so we weren't good enough. You saw there in the 90th minute, we missed an absolute sitter again from 2 yards out. Just wasn't going to happen today. As I said, their keeper was fantastic. Jack's not made a save until the second half. But then I think they've had, you know, 5 attempts on goal and scored 3. And that's back to the cliche of both boxes, you know. So yes, we've rested people. Yes, we've given people a chance. But too many of them will go home and go, well, it wasn't me he was talking about. I thought, by the way, Cooley was fantastic today. And I made the point to him in the dressing room in front of everybody. You know, it's hard after a defeat, and I've only watched it once, but it's absolutely right. I thought he was fantastic today. He was right back up to it, and it's been hard on him because he's been out for a long time and he's getting back up to it. But I thought he was the exception. Joe Haig, first half, second half. But again, got to be more ruthless. But there's a lot of players that just completely fell off a cliff. Is it that they're tired? But there were, as you say, a number of changes. People should have been on it, and we weren't. And as I said, don't want to take anything away from Salisbury. They'll think it's revenge and this, that, and the other. But I tell you what, I'm not standing for that any much more. It's not good enough, and we need to have some real self-analysis. And then I need to look at it and realise and take some tough decisions in the coming days and weeks, because we are not going to keep pushing in the right direction where we are consistently leaking a lot of goals. And, you know, one game doesn't change that in the Slough game. And we go to the league leaders and Worthing, another free-flowing side, a couple of days after that. And we've got to be realistic and understanding. I don't want to overplay it. We're in a great position, but I hate losing football matches. And that was just a gift. I mean, to be so dominant and to give it up that easy was ridiculous.
I won't ponder too much on Western next week, but obviously with Taylor Clark getting sent off and now being suspended for next Saturday, how does that impact what the week looks like ahead of it?
We had a plan already set, starting to think about Western. That's gone out the window. Honestly, it's too early to say. I'll lick the wounds, and you know, I will look at things tonight and start again on it tomorrow. There's never any stone left unturned, and preparation for games. Very, very frustrated. It's very difficult. He had a tough game today, you know, gets an early yellow card, and you know, I think it's a soft yellow, but at the end of the day, he's suspended, and it is what it is. Players need to step up. We have cover. We have, other trialists that we're looking at in training, that we just have to look at. Is, as I said, let's worry about next week. We need to accept responsibility today. I do. The players put out there weren't good enough in the end. As I said, for all the pretty play and the chances and their goalkeeper making save after save, we didn't score, and you concede goals like that, you're not going to win many games.
Cheers, Spencer. Commiserations for today, and we'll catch up during the week.
Thanks.